but I just can't stop. I really can't. I just cannot stop. I try everything in my...
Something drastic happened, and how large he was, it was like my heart broke for him. It just absolutely broke. When you're overweight, you don't want to be around people.
Some people just have this endless relationship with food, like every meal is their last supper. You know, the type of people whose idea of portion control is whether or not they need to use a second plate. Their stomach has no off switch, only a pause button between meals. Every meal is a cheat day, but the only thing they're cheating is their arteries. That's really the case with James, who wakes up every day only to think about food.
I wake up in the morning time. The first thing I do before I even brush my teeth, good morning, how you doing? I'm calling to put in an order for breakfast this morning, please. I gotta look or whatever service I need, do what I'm gonna order for breakfast. That's the first thing I do. All right, can I get the 2 slices of Steakhouse Premium Pancake? Can I get 2 orders of that, please? I spend most of my time on these delivery services. Can I get the Game Day Family Feast? Can I get the original French toast? The amount of stuff that you could get is just crazy, so I get excited. It's like the Super Bowl. You can get whatever you want now, you understand? And a slice of, let me get a slice of ham. 2 of them.
This is an absurd amount of food, let alone for just breakfast. And the way James keeps saying, when ordering makes you wonder if he's begging or bargaining with the waiter for just one more pancake. We're talking about people who can't stop eating, and James here can't even stop thinking about his next meal. To James, food is as exciting as the Super Bowl, but let's be real. The only thing athletic about his food is the workout his jaw gets while chewing. The Super Bowl is an intense, competitive sport. Food, well, it just makes you like James.
Food just takes away the pain. It takes away all the guilt. It takes away all the issues. Everything just goes away whenever I have that first bite. It just takes me to another place. You know, the food, it just blocks the world around you. And then you feel comfortable. You feel like nobody could see you. It gives me everything I want. But there's nothing worse than coming to an end of a meal. So.
You heard him. Food is the ultimate source of happiness for James. The second he's done with one meal, he's already daydreaming about the next. Because James likes to be future-proof when it comes to food. Planning ahead isn't about savings or life goals for him. It's about making sure he never faces that terrifying moment of being between meals. You think your breakup was painful? Please, ask James what real heartbreak feels like. It's when his plate is empty, and for those grueling 3 seconds, he hasn't eaten a thing.
I was over 100 pounds when I was 6 years old. And when I started going to school, I had to find ways to feed my appetite during the day because I was always hungry. So I got cool with the lunch ladies in the cafeteria. I would sweet talk them, so they'll sneak me some food in the morning. I would lie to the teacher and tell the teacher I'm going to the bathroom, and I'll end up in the lunchroom. Multiple times all day. And then I have a heavy meal at night, so it's just basically eating.
James, well, he's always been ahead of the curve, literally. While most of us were weighing in at a healthy 40 to 50 pounds by age 6, James was 50 pounds over. Because, let's face it, James isn't like the rest of us. He's a big man, but being big is less of a strength and more of a burden because his knees tell a different story. And unlike us, James had a way with the ladies. Well, the lunch ladies at least. By age 6, he was charming his way to extra helpings in the cafeteria, rizzing them up for those golden scoops of mashed potatoes. But all that free food came at a cost, and, well, James became James.
I love red velvet cake. That's something I adore. I got introduced to red velvet cake when I had moved to Florida. I have to have it daily. It's a part of my meals. It's such and such, and red velvet cake. Yeah, I need a big piece. I need a large one. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Another bigger one?
Nah, that's good.
That's good?
Yeah.
No, it tastes good.
Good, right? It's not good, it's the best.
James could eat a whole bakery of red velvet cakes and still look like he's just warming up. But credit where it's due. It's impressive that he manages to hold off on devouring everything in sight when the camera's rolling. The way his eyes were glued to that creamy goodness, you just know as soon as they cut to another shot, he went back for at least 3 more slices. That's the thing with James, though. His stomach isn't just a bottomless pit. It's a full-on black hole for anything remotely edible.
The world has just pushed me away, and because of that, I resort to food. I'm loving the food. These ribs, oh God.
Is that the best thing for you?
Yeah. But I know at the end of the day,
Not even 5 minutes after polishing off that cake, James has already dived headfirst into the world of grilled meat. With enough food to feed a small village, let's hope James decides to call it quits for the day because it's still broad daylight and things are already getting out of hand. Despite James's absurd claims that the world is pushing him away, it's pretty clear that nothing could ever push him away. Even if the entire world tried to move him, he wouldn't shift an inch.
but I know I have a long trip ahead of me. I just hope that I can make it because I don't have any help here. This cake is so good. I'm gonna bring Mr. Now a piece of cake.
James keeps insisting that his current town doesn't offer any help for weight loss, which is funny because his friends have been telling him to stop eating for years, but you have to admire the guy's spirit. He's full of life and, well, food. Let's hope his journey toward health takes a turn for the better. You've got to give him credit, though, for being bold enough to bring a slice of cake to his doctor's appointment. Things only get worse from here as we get on to our next contender, Marla.
Hold yourself up.
Eventually, they caught him. By then, my life was already ruined. I was already over 700 pounds. Food made me happy. That just wasn't gonna change. I couldn't go back. So I kept eating, and I kept gaining.
Marla places the blame for her weight on the trauma from her boyfriend's attempted kidnapping and the tragic deaths of 2 officers, but at the end of the day, it's still her own choices that led her here. Yes, the trauma is real, and it's understandable that it would affect her. It's how you deal with them that matters. Instead of fighting her pain, Marla let food take over, using it as a comfort rather than confronting her struggles. While the trauma shaped her, it didn't force her hand. She let it control her.
When we go shopping for her, it's not what she need to be eating. She should be eating. It's about what she want to eat. And if you ain't got what she wants, she mad.
Don't cook me up 2 boxes. You want one?
Marla's obsession with food has warped her sense of reality to the point where she can't even see how everything around her is crumbling. Her eating habits have taken over her life, and any offer of help is immediately brushed aside because, in her world, food is king. It's heartbreaking, really. Her daughter watches helplessly as the addiction tightens its grip. No matter how much love or concern her family shows, the hold food has over her is just too strong for her to face right now.
Her stuff, because I know that's what's gonna make her happy. She loves food.
Baby, thank you.
That's been her biggest issue, period. She loves food.
When I start eating those foods, I can't stop.
It's not bad at all.
When it comes to falling into that cycle of regret and doing the same things all over again, Marla's got it mastered. She's so hooked on food that even when she's crying, there's always something in her mouth. It's like, no matter how bad things get, a snack is never too far away. She'll try to convince you that she can't help it, but deep down, we all know what's really happening here.
I love the way it all tastes. I love the way it makes me feel. It's my comfort. But
Marla's situation is plain as day, yet she keeps surrendering to the comfort of food, letting it control her every move and mood. You can see it in her eyes. She's completely hooked on junk food, even proudly calling herself a junk food junkie. None of this is normal behavior, and what makes it worse is that it's all happening right in front of her daughter. It's like she's lost in this cycle, and her daughter is watching it unfold in real time.
And that's keeping me from being a part of my kids' lives.
It's truly heartbreaking to watch Marla prioritize food over her own kids. Her mind has been so clouded by all the junk she consumes that her focus has shifted completely from her family to whatever's on her plate. It's as if her entire world revolves around her next meal, while everything else, including her daughter's well-being, fades into the background. The hardest part to witness is her daughter's conflicted emotions. Happy to see her mom, but weighed down by the sadness of watching her spiral deeper into unhealthy habits. The love is there, but so is the pain.
The way I'm afraid this shall pass. I'm afraid that I'm gonna lose my mom.
I'm worried. My kids are gonna come here and find me dead one day. The idea of that horrifies me. I need to do something fast, or that's what's gonna happen. I need to change, or I'm gonna die.
She's fully aware of her situation, and it's not like she doesn't grasp the seriousness of it. Yet, There she is, going about her day, frying up chicken on the same bed where she lies naked to be clean. It's like she's daring fate, adding even more ways for something to go wrong. The weight doesn't get her first. The hygiene situation just might. And let's not forget the enablers, always around to make things worse, letting it spiral to this point. If that's not enough sadness for you, meet Justin.
And what I do is stay here and eat.
Right, how are you? Got it?
Yes. And a lot of days, the only people I'll see or talk to are the delivery people.
Justin, unlike Marla, seems to have the mental ability to control his desires, but his situation is equally grim in its own way. He doesn't go out, doesn't socialize, and has essentially trapped himself in a bubble. The only thing keeping him going is food. It's sad because if he had more friends or a reason to be excited about something other than his next meal, maybe he wouldn't feel so trapped. Right now, though, food is his only companion, filling the void where connections and joy should be.
But this is what my life has come to. And doing normal things and having a normal day is just not something that's possible for me anymore. So I just eat, because food always makes me happy.
Justin is letting food create a void in his life, and it's probably a good thing he's not a parent, given that children require energy and effort that he's clearly not able to muster right now. He's falling into the same pattern many others do, believing that the only relief he can find is through eating. But even Justin knows this brief comfort doesn't last long. As soon as the meal is over, he's already looking for the next one, trying to shift his focus away from the underlying issues that the food can't actually solve.
So I don't really ever want to stop. But at the same time, I know food is why my life is like this. And the more I eat, the worse it gets. And I know that. As I'm eating, there's like this internal monologue of, why are you doing this? You don't need this. This isn't good for you. Put it down. Stop.
At least Justin has a higher degree of self-awareness than many who came before him. His inner struggles are proof that he has the potential to make a change for himself one day. However, using the excuse that he can't is just a convenient rationalization. It's disheartening to watch someone who has the capability to recognize their problems still indulge in harmful habits. The simple truth is, continuing down this path is nothing short of self-destructive.
Compulsive life.
You about ready for yours?
Yeah. Could I get help with that?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Nothing can save a person from their unquenchable desire for more. Once that feeling takes over, self-control is nothing but an illusion. Whether it's power or waffles, it all comes down to the same thing. Justin clearly understands the consequences of his choices, yet he chooses to sweep it all under the carpet for his future self to clean up. It's a classic case of knowing better, but doing worse, leaving tomorrow's problems for some
Misery away. So I never really stop. It's the only way I can deal with it all. But at this point, I know I'm killing myself with food, and every bite I take gets me closer to ending my life. And what I feel in my body now, that type of pain, is like nothing I felt before. It's hard to describe, but it's like even my bones hurt at times. And I know it's because my body is starting to break down because of all the weight.
Justin, like many others, lets his emotions drive his actions. Even when he's already full, he heads to the kitchen to make another pizza, fully aware that he's letting his life slip away because of his food obsession. Almost like he's stuck in a loop, repeatedly falling back into old habits despite knowing the harm they're causing. He hasn't given up, but he keeps falling into the same patterns, letting the cycle of overeating and regret go on.
So I'm terrified right now, because I know there's a good chance I could go to sleep one night and just not wake up. But what's even scarier to me is that there are days where I'm starting not to care if I die, because it means I won't have to fight.
Despite caring about his life, Justin is slowly letting it slip away. He keeps convincing himself that a day might come when he won't care about living at all. And that's when he fears he'll become the worst version of himself, even worse than he is now. Let's find out if it gets better from here with Melissa.
Gain slowed down when I went back to school, and I wasn't eating as much, but I was still finding ways to sneak food and eat the way.
First off, considering her size, the fact that she can even move is impressive, but then you have to wonder if this effort is just for getting lasagna from the kitchen, or if it applies to every task she does. Now that we've given her some credit, let's get real. She's essentially carrying all that lasagna for herself.
And so I put on another 100 pounds in the next 5 years. And I was around 250 when I was 13. And when it got like that, was when my mom started to really point out.
It's almost comical that it took someone else to point out that she was putting on weight. At 13, you might not have the wisdom of an adult, but checking the mirror every now and then could give you a hint. If her mom had been a bit more observant earlier, Melissa might have become self-aware sooner and avoided letting things get this out of hand.
She used to go out, she used to travel. Now it's much different. Even though she gained excessive weight now, she doesn't go.
Melissa's life has devolved into a train wreck, with food being her primary focus, while she barely manages to step outside. It's almost surreal that someone with so many people around to care for them ends up letting everyone down so thoroughly. Watching her, I can't help but wonder if there's any thought behind those eyes as she indulges. All I see is a look of immense pleasure, as if the only thing that matters is the next bite.
I don't want to share any of these, but I'm going to be nice.
That's fine, you can have them.
You sure?
I'm positive.
I want to rollerblade again. I want to be able to have fun and make jokes and not feel embarrassed to be around people. When you're overweight, you don't want to be around people as you feel like they're judging you. You just avoid everything.
Well, we all know she's not exactly being honest. At this point, she could be the nicest person in the world, but you still wouldn't get a bite of that food. It's all just a ploy. She'll ask you if you want some, only to swoop in and snatch it all for herself when you say no. And mark my words, when the time comes, she'll shift the blame for her weight onto everyone else. It's a classic move we've seen before.
And have a good time and make jokes and feel secure within myself. I want to regain.
She knows exactly what she wants and has the whole playbook on how to get it, but has she actually put it into action? Nope, it's all talk. She says she wants to be responsible and make changes, but the second she sees food, it's like her personal Tyler Durden takes over, and all those good intentions go right out the window.
Because I can't sit and continue to ignore what I've done to myself. It's either face the music or just start planning your funeral. And I don't want to die. I'm going to be traveling to Houston today to try to see Dr. Now. I have an appointment with him tomorrow because I want weight loss surgery. But I'm willing to do this and go all that way if there's any chance I could turn my life around, because I know I have to. I'm gonna fly because I know I can't last in a car for days to get there from Florida. Come in! And my best friend Shay is coming with me to Houston to meet Dr. Now as support and to help me, because I also want to be able to do this trip on my own. Hey.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. I don't know why I booked this flight so early.
Me either.
It's the same old story, repeated like a broken record. If she really knew what needed to be done, she'd be doing it by now. The effort starts with putting down that extra wing and actually getting up to grab a salad instead. If she could just ditch the bad eating habits, she'd have a shot at turning things around. But we all know how this tale ends. Maybe we can help this tale end differently by spreading awareness, something you can play a part in by liking the video and subscribing to the channel.